This is Pete's podcast number 5, and this is day number 16,018 on my way to my 100th birthday. Good morning, everyone. It's early in the morning, I'm sure for you guys there. Right now it's 5:30 in the morning. I just finished doing my run for the day, and I'm all ready to share with you some thoughts and share some things that I've been working on, looking at, and answer some questions at the end. And so today I want to share a couple of books with you that basically pick up on a book that I introduced to you in the last podcast, and then share a couple of things about martial arts, about being a black belt, and then also share some answers to questions that were asked of me over the last couple of days, specifically on Facebook. I asked a question on Facebook, and from that question, I got questions, and I want to share my answers to you, so I think that'll be helpful. So the first thing on my list today I want to share with you is I'm calling Story Time with Master Liciaga. I would like to read a chapter from a book. And this is, I'm thinking of the kids, but this is also for you guys, parents and adults out there, but I'm also thinking this story could be for your children. And I will read from a book, Way of the Warrior Kid, from Jocko Willink, Navy SEAL, retired Navy SEAL, wrote this book. Here, I shared about it last week, read a chapter from it last week. I thought that I would read another chapter today, chapter 1. If you want to order this book, if you have not already ordered it, go to peterliciaga.com, Warrior Kid, and that will take you to Jocko's page for Warrior Kid, and there you can order the book and support the work that he's doing. So let me go right to the book. Chapter 1, The Worst Year. Tomorrow is the last day of school, and I can't wait for it to be over. This has been the worst year ever. The bad part is that I don't see how next year is going to be any better at all. 5th grade was horrible. I'm afraid 6th grade will be even worse. Why was it so bad? Where do I begin? Top 5 reasons why 5th grade was horrible. Now, I don't know about you, but I did not like school at all, and I think for a lot of reasons why. Mark, this is Mark speaking in this book right now, chapter 1, and a couple of reasons why I did not like school around this age was simply because I felt really dumb. I really did not get much support from my parents on good practices, on studying and meeting challenges and overcoming obstacles of not knowing something and having strategies to learn it. I didn't have any of that. So I would get into school and a teacher would start teaching, whether it was math, science, literature, didn't matter. I felt really, really dumb. I had no idea what they were talking about. And so I really did not like school at all. And then I didn't make friends very easily. Matter of fact, I didn't make friends at all around this time. I was very shy, didn't speak, and I felt dumb, so I didn't feel like I had any place to speak. So I kept very, very quiet. Had no friends, and also I had my first experience getting beaten up, and I got beaten up by someone named Monique, and I'll never forget that name, Monique. Yes, it was a girl. She targeted me and came up to me and just started punching me and beat the lights out of me, and so it was not a good time for me. So I can relate to Mark here. So anyway, he's going to give his reasons, 5 reasons why 5th grade for him was horrible. Let's go back to this book here. Number 1, it's school. I'm sitting at a desk all day. That's it. Sit at the desk all day. Number 2 is I learned that I'm dumb. That's right. All the other grades, I thought I was smart. But this year I was a failure. I still don't know my times tables. How the heck am I going to make it through next year? So you see he's struggling to know his timetables. Okay, reason number three, why fifth grade was a horrible year for him was school lunches. They call it pizza. I have no idea why. Since when does a piece of white bread count as pizza crust? I know my kids talk about the pizza at school now, and so I can relate to that. I'm sure he did not like school because of that, obviously. Number 4 was gym class. Most people like gym, but at my school, we have tests, and I completely stink, especially at pull-ups. Guess how many pull-ups I can do? 0. I can do 0 pull-ups. I'm a disgrace to 10-year-olds, and the whole class knows it. Even the girls, especially the girls that can do more pull-ups than me, they're better. Number 5, field trips. Just like gym class, most kids like field trips. Well, we go to one place for field trips, Mount Tom. We go there in the fall. It gets too cold, and in the spring when it starts to get warm. But here's the thing. Mount Tom isn't a mountain. It's a lake. Here's the problem. I can't swim. I hit it pretty well during our fall trip, but this spring, kids noticed. Why don't you come out in the water? Why are you staying on the beach? Why don't you just jump off the diving board? What kind of person can't even swim? Me. That's what kind of person. Anyway, I know I said there was 5 reasons, but there was one more, and it's probably the biggest reason. Kenny Williamson. He is a big, mean kid. He rules the jungle gym. He even calls himself King of the Jungle Gym, or King Kenny. If any other kids want to play on the jungle gym, they'll have to be friends with Kenny or follow his rules. All the teachers talk about my school is bully-free. We even have a no bully day where we talked about bullying and how bad it was and how we should tell the teachers if we saw it happening. Well, let me tell you, Kenny is definitely a bully, and he definitely is in my school, and no one says anything to the teachers about it. I hear this a lot from our students, and talking about what's going on in their schools and how they're being picked on, teased, and how this kid is doing this to them and how they're feeling like this on the bus, and so I'm hearing it all the time. And of course, their schools say that there's no bullying going on. They have practices in place and guidelines that the kids can follow, but kids are still dealing with it. And so back to the book, those are the top reasons that 5th grade was horrible. And 6th grade isn't going to be much better. I can't wait for school to be over tomorrow so the suffering can stop and summer can start. Now, a couple of days ago, we had kids had their last day of school. I believe today, for a few kids, it's their last day of school, or yesterday was. And summer just started. And a lot of kids are excited about that and looking forward to a great summer. And so Mark was no different. He was looking forward to school coming to an end and summer to begin. He goes on saying, this summer is going to be awesome. Yes, it is cool that I won't have to be in school, but something even cooler is happening. My Uncle Jake is coming to stay with us for the whole summer. He has been a Navy SEAL for 8 years and is getting out of the Navy to go to college. Before he goes to college, he is going to stay with us the whole summer long. A Navy SEAL, for real, in my house. Uncle Jake is the best. First, he is a super cool because he is a Navy SEAL. He fought in real wars. My mom says he was on the front lines. That means he was face to face with the bad guys. Whoa. Uncle Jake is also awesome because he is the complete opposite of me. I am weak, he is strong. I am dumb, he is smart. I can't swim, he can swim with a backpack on. I'm scared of bullies, bullies are scared of him. Anyway, I haven't spent too much time with Uncle Jake because we live in California and he has been stationed in Virginia for a long time. I hope he doesn't think I'm such a dumb wimp that he won't hang out with me. And maybe he won't notice. Obviously, he'll notice. Of course he will. He is a tough guy. I'm a dork. Well, I guess I will find out soon. That's the end of chapter 1. Of course, if you want to read the rest of it, I may share more in the future. But Mark, getting ready for an exciting summer. Happy that school is over in the 5th grade. Not looking forward to the 6th grade at all, but excited about summer because Uncle Jake, a real live Navy SEAL, is going to hang out with him or stay at his house for the summer as he prepares to go to school. And yeah, I say order the book, read it to your kids, or at least have your kids read it. Kids would love this, Way of the Warrior Kid. I love it. It's great. And I like some of the drawings in there. It's pretty cool. And but yeah, read that. So that's for your kids. And I love it. Go to the site, peterliciaga.com/warrior kid, and find out more about the book. Get the book for your kids. And yeah, I like that. It's a great book. Right there in my collection of books for kids. And I'm actually I've done a research on great books, martial arts books that I'll be sharing with you over the podcast, and maybe even reading little excerpts from those books for your kids, a little story time with Master Liciaga, and share that with your kids. And some kids would love to hear stories. I know a lot of times when I'm teaching class, I say, okay, kids, it's story time. Who wants to hear a story? And then they all put their hands on up in the air, and then we'll sit down, I'll tell them a story. Sometimes my stories are really quote unquote dumb, but it gets a laugh, and they love seeing me make up stories on the spot. And sometimes my stories are pretty cool stories that the kids really get into and enjoy. But that was a story from The Warrior Kid. And I think that's a awesome story. All right, next on my list, as we move forward, I want to share with you my segment that I'm going to call Get It Done. My Get It Done segment. And in this segment, I'm going to share with you my 5 simple steps to earning your black belt. Of course, you know, I'm a martial artist, been a martial artist for a long time. Started my journey 47 years ago when I was 9 years old. And getting a black belt is simple. It's simple to get a black belt. 5 simple things that you have to do. Now, I have to let you know, simple does not mean easy. Simple does not mean easy. But here are simple steps, not easy steps, simple steps. Number 1, join a martial arts school. Find a martial arts school with a great teacher. What I mean by great is a teacher that knows their martial art, knows how to teach that martial art, and has fun doing it, loves doing it, and makes it fun. That's the key. So find a great school with a great teacher that loves doing what they're doing and has fun doing it. That's number 1. Okay, next one is once you've signed up, once you've joined the martial arts school with that great teacher, that cool teacher that likes to have fun teaching martial arts, decide which days you're going to go and put that in your calendar and simply show up. That's it. Show up. Okay, no more, no less. Just show up. And then from there, number 3, simple step number 3 is follow directions. Just follow the direction. The teacher will tell you to do something. Just do it. That's it. Simply do it. Okay, next thing, number 4, train hard. Go with that mindset. You're going to give it everything you've got. Do your best. Forget the rest. And bringing us to number 5, don't quit. don't quit. If you do all 5, number 1, join a martial arts school with a cool teacher that has fun. Show up to the days that you schedule yourself to be there. Follow the direction of your great, cool teacher. Train hard and don't quit. Those are the 5 simple steps. Okay, simple does not mean easy, but follow those steps. You keep doing that and you will get your black belt. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I'm proof of that. Okay, guaranteed. I wasn't perfect. There were times I wanted to give up. There were times that I went a little astray, but I came back. I just never gave up. And here I am 47 years later, and I just earned my 6th degree black belt in Tang Soo Do Muay Kwan, and very, very exciting, a great accomplishment. And I simply did these things. I joined a martial arts school with a cool teacher that had fun, and I showed up, did my classes, followed the directions, trained hard, and I didn't quit. Here I am with my black belt and going beyond that. Okay, and so that's it. Simple and easy. Okay, now here's a martial arts training tip. And my podcast, I most likely will be having not only get it done tips, so these are get it done, so get this done, get to school, get the martial arts school to get your black belt, get it done, simply get out there, get it done. And here's my tip, my martial arts training tip. 2 things, just train. Just train. You're going to have a lot of questions. Once you decide that martial arts is for you, that you want to do it, you've done those 5 simple things, just train. You'll have questions. Write your questions down. Most importantly, just train. That's it. Do your push-up, do your jumping jacks, get in, train hard, don't quit. And you have questions, get a journal, write your questions down. Questions will be answered as long as you keep training. I know when I started, my instructor did not tolerate questions from beginner students, especially, or pretty much from most of the students. Black belts, advanced students simply knew not to ask questions, not while the training was happening. That's a big distinction, right? They did ask questions at the right place at the right time. They would ask for a time with the instructor in their office or on the side of the floor, maybe before or after class, and then they'd ask if it was okay to ask a question. Then they would ask their question. However, I was trained at a very young age to don't ask questions, just train, just train, just train. And so my martial arts training tip for you is just train, work hard, don't give up. Just train. And here's big, because once you decide that you can do martial arts, you have a reason, you have a why. So my next training tip is to really understand your why. Understand why you're doing what you're doing, because your why becomes your reason, your motivating factor for you to keep going, for you to get to that moment where you say, you know what, I'm tired, I don't feel like going to karate, I don't feel like training, and blah, 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 wah, 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 whining and crying. And then you're going to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Your reason, your why, has to be big enough so that you will go and do it. When you do those push-ups, when your instructor says one more, just one more, just one more, you're going to know why. That's going to be your motivating factor. Your discipline is going to hopefully be top of that list, because it's the right thing to do. Because I've committed to becoming a black belt. The right thing to do is just do it. That's it. Just do it. That's why I'm doing it. And then, of course, there's a bigger picture. Maybe it's because you want to be better. Maybe because you're dealing with bullying. Maybe it's because you're dealing with weakness when it comes to challenges, where you give in to your weaknesses and you want to be more disciplined, that you want to overcome these challenges. So your reason has to be big enough that it's going to push you through. It's going to answer that question, why, and why you're going to keep going, why you're not going to quit. It's got to be big. Maybe as an adult, you're like, for me as a dad, I want to be strong. I want to be alert. I want to be the point man in my family, to first line of defense for my family. So when challenges come to attack my family, I'm prepared, I'm equipped, I'm focused, I'm disciplined, and I have an attitude where I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going. Maybe that's my reason why. If you're a mom, maybe you want to just be a more powerful mom. You want to be, have this girl power, and that you want to demonstrate it. You want to get up in the morning. You want to have the discipline, and you want to train for black belt, because that's going to help you become even more effective as a mom, as a parent. So what is your why? Remember that. Have a good why, a good reason why you're doing what you're doing, and then just train. Okay, so that's my martial arts training tip for today. The next thing I want to share with you is another book. And I'm going to share with you my notes from this book. I will be at any given moment going through several books. I do that. That's the way I read. I'll go through to a book. I'll read a chapter of a book. I'll make notes, and I put that in my journal. My journal is right here. Many times when you look through my journal, this is my journal from yesterday. You'll see there's a lot of notes in there. A lot of my notes come from books that I'm reading at that moment. So I'll get a book that I've been inspired to get, either from someone that recommends it to me. So if you have a book to recommend to me, please do recommend it. I'll get the book, I'll look the book up, and then I'll decide whether it's something I want to put in my collection. Then I'll read it. And then I always take notes. I'll always purchase the book and take notes. I may also get it in audio format, or I put it on my device, where I'll get the digital version of it so that I can refer to it. But I always want, if it's a book that that really resonates with me, I'll get it so that I can make my notes in the book. I like writing notes in the book, putting stickums in there so that I can go back and refer to it. So what I want to do is I want to go through a short chapter in this book. The book that one of the books that I'm reading right now is called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. And you can go to peterliciaga.com/ego is the enemy, and you can go ahead and look up this book, research it, and I highly recommend that you get it. And it's a great book. It really challenges me to look at the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, and really check myself, and to remind myself to be humble, and to make sure that my ego does not get so much in the way that it really clouds why I do what I do. That becomes more about me as opposed to helping other people and meeting the needs of my community and helping others. So anyway, let me go ahead and share this book with you and share my notes. So the chapter is called What's Important to You? And there's a quote here. It says that to know what you like is the beginning of wisdom and of old age. And goes on to say, begins, and what I'm going to do is I'll read some of it. Then what I'll do is I'll stop when I have a note. Then I'll expound why I made a note there. And the book this chapter begins, what's important to you. At the end of the Civil War, Ulysses Grant and his friend, William T. Sherman, were two of the most respected and important men in America. Essentially the dual architects of the Union's victory. A grateful country with the snap of its fingers said, whatever you like, as long as you live, is yours. With this freedom at their disposal. So what happened here? I mean, you guys know your history. These gentlemen helped bring us through the Civil War and had victory. And because of that, the country was so excited and grateful, appreciated the work that they had done, that they basically said, whatever you guys want, it's yours for the rest of your life. Ask, it's yours. And so they had this freedom to do whatever they wanted to do. So let's see what they chose to do. And if you know history, you'll know that. But let's see how this ties into this chapter on ego and what's important to you. So let's go on. It says, with this freedom at their disposal, Sherman and Grant took different paths. Sherman, whose track we followed earlier, and they're referring to earlier in the book, so you want to get the book, you'd read about that, what they were referring to in the book, did not like politics and repeatedly declined entreaties to run for office. And he says this, I have all the rank I want. Having seemingly mastered his ego, he would later retire to New York City, where he lived in what was, by all appearances, happiness and contentment. So they being people that came to him, said, hey, we'd love for you to run for office, to lead the nation, and to maybe go for be a president and run the country. He said no. He said he had all the rank that he needed. He was done. He just wanted to retire, which he did, and says that he was happy. He was content. Okay, moving on. Grant, who had expressed almost no prior interest in politics, and in fact had succeeded as a general precisely because he didn't know how to play politics, chose instead to pursue the highest office in the land, the presidency. Okay, he chose to become president and was elected by a landslide. He then presided over one of the most corrupt, contentious, and least effective administrations in American history. See that he chose to go to president. This great general went in, and history has shown that his presidency was one of the worst in history. And after the presidency, Grant, after the presidency, Grant invested almost every penny he had to create a financial brokerage house with a controversial investor named Ferdinand Ward. Ward, Bernie Madoff of his day, turned it into a Ponzi scheme and publicly bankrupted Grant. And so you see that Grant started making a lot of bad decisions and got together with someone that ripped off a lot of people, and bad situation here. And so you see two different paths. I underlined here, he couldn't decide what was important and what actually mattered to him. So obviously, Grant had an issue of really zeroing in on what was really important to him, and you see that it made a powerful impact in the country. A lot of people lost a lot of money, and it goes on where he tried to fix it and didn't work. Nothing he did was working, and he wanted to be honest, and he wanted to pay back the people that he had that lost all this money, and just didn't work out. Did not work out. And let me go back to the book. I'm jumping a little bit ahead in the chapter. And one of my notes here, and I put a big exclamation point here, why? And then I put question marks. And it says, all of us regularly say yes to unthinkingly. So my thought here is that a lot of times that he was saying yes to this, he tried this, tried that, but he didn't give much thought to it. And he did not put his thoughts against a bigger why for himself. Why was he doing this? What was the reasoning behind this? And he didn't put much thought in that. And a lot of us do that. He wasn't unique in that. You know, I've done it where I would just do something and try this, try that. And when you're young, It's, hey, you're learning. You live and you learn. You try this, you try that, you make a mistake, you fall on your face, and yeah, maybe some people get hurt along the way because you're ignorant to that. But as you get older, and Grant definitely here is a lot older, a lot wiser because of his experience. However, he didn't give much thought to why he was doing what he was doing. And I underlined this, that he did not have a powerful enough reason why. And it goes on. I go on here with this is stuff that I underlined here in the book, and part of my note. Because we can't say no, because we might miss out on something if we do, we think yes will let us accomplish more, when in reality it prevents exactly what we seek. A lot of times, and again, this is why I underline this. A lot of times I'm believing that I'm going to do this because I could get more. I could accomplish more really, really fast. And I can expedite, something that I think that I want. Maybe more money, more affluence, and maybe influence in my community. And I want to do something really, really fast without much thought, and thinking I could do it fast. And I do something. And forgetting that it takes time to build influence. It takes time. Little by little. You can't rush things. It's very easy to think, especially these days, when we have social media, we see Facebook, we see the news, where someone, will overnight, you think, will get, $600 million for an idea. And I saw on the news just the other day, someone had an idea, created a brand, and the brand was really, for a couple of years was doing great. It was building, and they didn't think it was going to build. They just wanted to do something to help someone else out, help a community out, to feed people, basically, to feed. This was an organization that they created to help feed people around the world that was starving, and they created a brand. And another company saw the power of this brand and offered $600 million for this brand. And the person that created the brand said, hey, look, with this money, I can then feed more people. So they sold the brand. And they made $600 million, what everyone would perceive as overnight. Well, even if it took 3 years, 5 years, $600 million, it's a lot of money. So we're thinking, hey, let's create a brand and let's do this really, really fast. This way one day and we think we're doing things really, really fast. But the reason is maybe not... we let our egos get in the way on that, and maybe it's not as noble as one would think, and we want to get money really, really fast. So it's easy to get caught up into that. I do, and so that's why I underlined this. It was a reminder to me to stop and really focus on the big picture, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And many of you have been following me, know that, that I live with this mindset every single day. I have, it's one day less that I have to live. So let me take that day and maximize that day and create my legacy so that 101 years from now or more in the future, my future generations will look back and say, wow, my great-great-great-grandfather did this, and this was great. I could learn from that. So it becomes my legacy. And I want to make a difference. I want to send a ripple in history that will maybe stop one person in their day to consider what they're doing makes a difference. And that's why I live my day every day. So those of you that follow me know that I live one day at a time with the hope that I live with a purpose that will affect life, change lives. And so I have to stop here and ask myself, why do I want to do? So that's why I underlined this and I made note to that. Further down, the chapter goes within this book, ego leads to envy and it rots the bones of people, big and small. And you see this all the time. Ego, and continues in the book, ego undermines greatness by diluting its holder. So if you allow your ego to get in there and then fog your view of why you're doing what you're doing, it's going to undermine that. And before you know it, and you see this all the time, that it destroys, destroys what you're trying to accomplish. And before you know it, you take this path that leads to destruction, to pain, to hurt. And so you've got to stop that. And this is, again, had me stop and think about why I'm doing what I'm doing. Is my ego getting in the way? I have to really ask myself, what's important to me? And am I in line with that? Another underlined note that I have here, it's absolutely critical that you know who you're competing with and why, and that you have a clear sense of the space you're in. And I underlined this within the context of this, that my real enemy is me, and my competition really is my old self, my old way of thinking, and that I have to challenge myself to become better, not become better than anyone else, but to become a better me. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I deciding to make this choice at this moment? And is it the right choice? Is it in line with what I'm doing? Does it make me better, make me smarter, make me more intelligent? Does it make me more effective to do what I'm going to do? And this is why I stopped and paused here and underlined that on that there. Okay, and finishing up in that chapter, I have another note here. And so why do you do what you do? And I put here big letters, if you can see that there. It's right there. Big question. Big question. Why do you do what you do? Your big why. And earlier in my notes here, in this podcast, I mentioned in martial arts training tip, that why. Why do you do what you do? Why do you want to be a black belt? Why do you want your kids to do martial arts? Why do you want to go back to college? Why do you want to change jobs? Why do you want to continue to be this great mom, this great dad? Why do you want to be a great kid? Why? What's the answer to that big question? So why do you want to do what you do? And then I finish off at the end of this chapter here, underlining courage and faith to stop yourself from doing things that that contradict, that are not congruent to that big why. And then find out, and I finish off here, ignore those who mess with your pace, those people who want to disrupt what you're doing. You know why you're doing what you're doing, and you stay on top of it. You visit it all the time, why you're doing what you're doing. You meditate on it. You pray about it. Maybe you get with a trusted mentor or trusted confidant, discuss it with them, and you're convinced why you're doing what you're doing. No one is going to be able to get into your mind and see your why with your filter, with your lens. So there'll be people making judgments, especially if you live out loud like me. People will see something and that you say, and they'll read it and process it within their filter and their lens, within their own context of their mind, where they are. And they may see it as more than what it is, or they may see it as less than what it is. But they will most likely not see it through your eyes, through your lens, through your filter. So there are people out there that will purposely go out to disrupt you out of jealousy, out of envy. They'll disrupt you, and they'll disrupt your pace, your momentum. So ignore that. Ignore that. And I underlined that, and it's a reminder for me for that. So I thought I'd share that with you from Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Go to peterliciaga.com/ego is the enemy. Okay, and so I thought that I'd share that with you. So let's come to this moment here where I want to answer some questions. Over the last couple of days, I put up a question on Facebook, and it simply was this: what question do you have today on martial arts? And so I believe I was what was I doing? I think I was running, and I had that question in my mind. Hey, I want to put a question up on Facebook and about martial arts, because every time I teach classes, I'm constantly, never-ending a series of questions that come from parents to students, and many of the questions are repetitive. The same questions many times, same questions over and over and over again. So anyway, I thought that I would put this question up on Facebook, and I have 4 questions that I want to share with you. And I did promise these people that I would expound on them, and so here it goes. Question number 1 was, when's the best time to start in martial arts? I get this question all the time from individuals that are considering training in martial arts. They're adults, they have a full-time job, they have 24 hours in their day, and they're maximizing their day as best as possible, filling that day with everything that is important to them. And they're asking themselves, then eventually ask me, when's the best time to start martial arts? Now, my answer is always the same: as soon as possible. So if you come to me and ask me, Pete, hey, I'm thinking about martial arts. When's a good time to start martial arts? When should I start martial arts? I'll say as soon as possible. How about now? Right now. Call someone up, find a school, get the schedule, show up and work hard and don't quit. Have your goal. Why? You want to become a black belt because you want to become one, and that's your reason, your why. And when to start? Right now, right here. That's always my answer. Even a parent will ask, well, I have a child, a 4-year-old child. When's a good time to put them in martial arts? As soon as possible. That's my answer. I don't know what's possible. Okay, if they're 4 years old and you don't know whether it's possible or not, start today. Call up, schedule a free lesson. There are many schools out there will be willing to have you come in for free. I know we do. Have you come in for free, see if your child is ready for martial arts. And if they are, start them now. That's possible. If they're not ready, so now not ready. But my answer will always be as soon as possible. Maybe 4 years old is not possible because your child says, I don't want to do it. I don't like it for whatever reason. Or you might say, you know what, we're going to do this. You got to go to school. You're going to preschool, blah, blah, blah. You got to do that. Whether you like it or not, you're going to go because this is my reason why. Then you explain to your child a reason why they're going to do it. And they're going to do it simply because you're going to teach them discipline. You're going to teach them how to do what needs to get done, whether they feel like it or not, because it's the right thing to do. But I don't know what's possible for your child. Well, let's find out. But when should they do it? I say as soon as possible. So that's my answer to when's the best time to start martial arts. Number 2 question that I want to answer that was asked of me the other day: is martial arts good for a child with ADHD, ODD, and mood disorder? And right away I'm going to say yes. Yes, because in my experience, and I've been teaching martial arts professionally, someone coming on board, being paid to teach martial arts to kids from as young as 3 years old. I've taught as young as 3 years old, all the way up through to mature adults, full-time, since 1999 at Donato Karate Center. And yes, I've had students across the board with all kinds of challenges. It's funny because when I first started martial arts, teaching martial arts, that'd be cool. Wow, yeah, sure, I'd love to do that. I'd love to teach martial arts, teach kicks and punches because I love doing it. And I've been doing it for such a long time and get paid for it and support my family doing it. Yeah, sure. So I'm thinking I'm going to teach kicks and punches and karate forms and all that. Little did I know that I had to get educated on different ways people learn and the different challenges that especially children come in, not exclusively children, but also adults coming in from with their life experiences, with their challenges, that I had to learn how to teach them, teach children with ADHD, with ODD. Now, ODD, some of you don't know, I made a comment with respect, referring to ODD. Some people ask, well, what's ODD? Is that a misprint? And so I said, no, ODD is basically oppositional defiant disorder. It's a child that has this disorder that's basically characterized where they are negative all the time. They're very defiant, especially if you're authority figure, you're a parent. They right away have this, they've diagnosed it, because if it's symptoms that are 6 months or longer ongoing, that they're defiant, they fight you, they just put up a defense when you're leading and guiding them as a parent, as an authoritative figure. They are diagnosed as ODD. And we do have a couple of students that have joined our program that have that. And I've had to teach my instructors how to mitigate that, how to help them with that. And the parents are working together with the parent, and we create strategies of communication, and we see the triggers. We get to know the student and see what triggers them, it starts to slowly, if we continue in that, allowing them to go in that direction, it escalates. So we learn escalation skills so that we can preempt it, we can mitigate it so that they don't escalate. Sometimes it may happen, but then if it does happen, we know exactly what to do. And the number one thing is be aware, and then stay calm. It's like our ABCs of self-defense. Awareness is the A, be calm, okay, and then proceed with confidence, calmly. And so, but my experience, yes, okay, martial arts is great for children, for anyone that has any kind of challenges. And I do speak about why, and of course, I did say I was going to expound on that. So let me, because why? Simply because we create a structured environment that's consistent. We're trained. We're instructors that are trained. We're experienced. And we have created an environment and a curriculum that helps everyone. Not just the type A aggressives that come in here and want to beat up bags and get aggressive, but also those students that are timid, those students that have learning challenges, and it's for students that are shy. We have create an environment that really supports all that, with no matter who you are. And it's exciting to see students that come with us with these challenges, and to watch them. And I've had the opportunity, and I've been fortunate to be in this position teaching consistently, since 1999, and I've seen students come and then grow, age through our program, become black belts, and even third degree, fourth degree black belts, masters even, that started off with students that had challenges. And I've seen how they've grown. I've seen the benefits of that, and many of them will send us letters thanking us, because through the training, through the structured environment, through this constant, never-ending conversation of discipline, of getting it done no matter what. It's not how you feel, it's just simply doing it, and constantly seeing that on a consistent basis when they come to our academy. And we've been around since '93, Master Donato Karate. I'm referring to Donato Karate Center since 1993. So the community has seen that consistently. We've had thousands of people come through our program. Those that stick through it, commit to it, through to black belt and beyond, have seen the benefits of it. Even someone that comes for 6 months. Come for 6 months, whatever they learn, they take with them. And I've had students, I had one that texted me the other day, texted me yesterday, thanking me that they were with me for a short period of time. And they remember me saying, be focused, be focused. I remember when he came into the program, we were in a Little Champions program, we're talking about, I will focus my eyes, my mind, and my body, and just be focused, get it done. No matter how you feel, just get it done, do the right thing. And he texted me back, telling me now that he's in college, saying that, wow, I still remember that, and I use that. And that, for me, that's powerful. So yes, martial arts is great for kids with learning challenges, ADD, ADHD, Asperger's, Tourette's, anything, you name it. We've experienced it. We've come with solutions that have worked. And we continue to be trained up. I continue to do research so that I'm current, to today, or what's happening today in that arena with all those challenges. And it's some incredible work that's been done with psychologists, with scientists, with behavioral therapists, and it's just remarkable how far we've come with understanding that. And I know my mom grew up and she realized when she was in her 50s that she probably had ADHD. And she definitely realized that she had dyslexia. And when she was in her late 50s, early 60s, she went back to school and she realized that she had dyslexia. And she was so upset that, that it took so long for her to understand that that was her challenge. Once she understood that and she researched on some of the strategies that she could implement to help her, it was incredible. It was just eye-opening. So I really appreciate the work that's being done. So yes, we stay on top of everything as instructors. It goes way beyond the kicks and the punches. We really focus on learning how to teach what we teach. And that's why we do have an instructor training program that any student that's a black belt that would love to share the knowledge, we tell them, if you're serious about that, if you want to become a teacher, definitely at Untitled Christ Center, you've got to go through the training. You've got to learn how to teach what you want to teach. And that program that we have, we share this knowledge with them, and how to share, how to do a kick and a punch, how to protect yourself, how to be focused, how to be disciplined and get it done and be black belt strong. Okay, so that's the answer to my question. And number 3, moving on. Okay, and almost done here, guys. Going to wrap it up. Okay, number 3 is 4 years old, too young to start. Of course, I answered that in the beginning. No, it's not. 4 years old is a great age to start. And we start our students at 3.5. And it just takes evaluation. And it's possible. I spoke about that, earlier. And 4 years old, yes, start them at 4 years old. See if they're ready. Bring them in. It's free. At least our school. Call us up and we'll set up an appointment for free. Come on in. And we see if your child is ready at 4 years old. Some kids aren't. Some kids aren't ready at 12 years old, simply because they just don't want to do it. Some adults, after not being ready, are ready. They weren't ready when they were kids. I've had adults come in and say, yeah, my mom tried martial arts with me when I was 8 years old and I wasn't having it. I did not want to listen to the teacher and that's it. And so my mom pulled me out, didn't work, but now I want it done because I remember, some of the things that was told to me when I was 8. Now I want it. I'm ready for it now. There's a saying that was told to me many years ago: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the teacher is ready, the student will appear. And so we don't know whether your child is ready, but 4 years old is a great age for someone to start. My next question here, this is the last question here. How can you tell when you are being consistent enough in your training? Actually, there's 3 parts to this question because it's followed up. How can you tell when you are being consistent enough in your training? And when did you realize your mindset was where it needed to be? And what helped you get there? So my answer to question number 1 is that when I created a goal, the question is, how can you tell when you're being consistent enough in your training? And my answer to them was, when you create a goal and you create a plan of action that's time-based, that you're actually going to implement, then you show up according to that plan of action, and then over time you see as you're showing up. Okay, then you reflect back saying, you know what, I'm consistent. I'm doing it. Okay, and that's how you can tell. You can tell that you're being consistent when you actually show up and it's according to your plan. You're doing it, let's say for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you're doing it every day. You're showing up. You get up today. Today I'm supposed to go. I show up. And next time you get up, you're supposed to go. You go, you show up. You're being consistent. You get up today, I'm doing it. Okay, tomorrow, you get up, you do it. And then all of a sudden you look back, so, oh my gosh, I'm reflecting back, I'm consistent. But when you look back and you say, you know what, I was supposed to go on this day to do this. That's what I planned to do. I didn't go. I'm inconsistent. And how many times do you have to miss your scheduled, predetermined plan of action to be somewhere? How many times are you going to miss? How about once? When you miss once, you're being inconsistent. If you go there once, you're consistent. If you go there twice, you're consistent. 3 times consistent. That's it. You're consistent. You stick to your plan. Okay, you do it. That's how you know. That's how you know when you're being consistent. And the other question in this, multiple question, when did you realize your mindset was where it needed to be? Is when I realized that I was showing up. I went this once. Okay, I'm being consistent. 2 times consistent. You could say, okay, you can look back and say, I've done it 1,000 times, or I've done it 20,000 times, or I did it once. I'm consistent. You make the rule. Why not once? I went today, I'm consistent. I went today. I'm going to get tomorrow and do exactly the same thing. Just be consistent. Just decide to do it. I know I make it simple because it is simple. But simple doesn't mean easy, does it? So that's my answer to that question. When did I realize my mindset was where it needed to be? It was when I realized that I was showing up and I was being there. That's being consistent for me. That's when I know it's being consistent. Third question to that one question was, what helped me get there? And simply this: I decided that I was going to get it done. I was going to be disciplined. I'm not going to say that, I got motivated. No. Motivation, I learned a while ago, I'm not going to wait till I'm motivated. I'm just going to decide. And in my moment, I knew I was going to do it when I decided that I was going to do it. That's it. That's when I knew. I decided I was going to do it, and I just did it. Okay, and so those are my answers to those questions. Thank you guys for asking. I appreciate that. If you have a question or a comment you'd like to share with me, ask me, you can send it on any of the social networks, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or hey, if you're on Snapchat, go to Snapchat, ask me the question there. I'm pretty much everywhere. Those are my 4 places. I'm even on LinkedIn, so you can ask me there. You can send me an email at Liciaga.com. So just go peter@peterliciaga.com. And send me your question there, or your thoughts or comments there. Okay, now I always want to finish off my podcasts with a reminder to everyone out there to share the work that's going on in your community. Share the work that people are doing in your community. If you are motivated, inspired, encouraged to think positive and to think bigger and beyond you by other people and the work that they're doing, share that. Please share that. If you hung out with me this whole podcast, or you at least got to this point here, I truly appreciate you spending the time with me. Obviously, you were inspired by it. Please share this with someone that you believe might be inspired by it, and share that. Also share the work that's being done in your community. There are people in your community that that are doing some powerful work, from the kids that are doing the car washes to raise money for the work that they want to do in their communities, to organizations, to small businesses. Share what they're doing and create links and share with your community what they're doing. And that helps out, sends a ripple effect, and helps them out. It helps you, because you're doing something in a very powerful way, albeit small, but small is very powerful. Just sharing a link. Hey, check this out. Pete's podcast is excellent. I was inspired. Here, check it out. And share that, and share it on your social networks. Another thing you can do that I believe that supports is to get more disciplined. Become more disciplined in being this person that I know everyone wants to become. Become more disciplined. Become healthier, more effective, and become maybe have more awareness, more calmness, more emotional maturity, not flying off the handle. And the best way to do that is in martial arts. I always recommend martial arts to everyone and anyone. Obviously, I'm biased because I've invested so much time. I've gotten so much out of it. I've seen so many people get so much out of it. So I would always recommend do martial arts, train in martial arts. Which one? I would highly recommend do your research, see which one resonates with you, whether it's a stand-up martial arts, whether it's kickboxing, Krav Maga, or Korean base, which is what we teach at Donato Karate Center, or any of the grappling arts down on the ground. It could be boxing, it could be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at McHugh BJJ. Check them out. Doesn't matter. Okay, if you want to find out which ones to go to, I would recommend those two places if you're in Mount Laurel. Simply because I know those two schools, and because I train there. I teach at one and I train at the other. And so I would first recommend them if you live in Mount Laurel. Donato Karate Center, donatokarate.com if you want to check out stand-up martial arts. If you're looking forward to trying out ground grappling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, number one place to go to is McHugh BJJ. I know firsthand these are the best places to go to. And so I would recommend that. Get disciplined, because discipline does equal freedom. If you decide to be disciplined and just get it done, you're going to see how it strengthens you and where your mindset and the quality of your life just excels. Okay? And tying into just getting healthy, getting fit, having the energy to do all that you have to do in your day, and still have enough energy to do the things that you would prefer to do at the end of your day or any part of your day, to maximize your day. And it's funny because I get up at 4:30 in the morning. Those of you that follow me know that, and I hold myself accountable every day to do that, because I know many of you are watching me and they see I make a snap of my watch, and I got that from Jocko, Willink, and I make a snap, and that's a way for me to hold myself accountable, because it's not easy, but I'm disciplined. I want to get it done, and part of me holding myself accountable to that is by taking a snap picture of it. And what's amazing is that I get up. It's not easy, but I accomplish so much. Like right now, I'm doing this podcast. I have the energy for it, and I still have other things I have to do in the day. And my day finishes off with me teaching 4 to 5 classes in the day of martial arts. And I get home. Yes, I'm exhausted. Yes, I'm ready to go to sleep. Yes, I'm ready to pass out. But I've maximized my day, and it's an exciting and powerful feeling. So discipline definitely equals freedom. Discipline is power. And so I definitely feel black belt strong, hashtag black belt strong. And so please, that's a great way to support your community. Okay, so let me know what I can do to help. I'd love to thank you by letting you let me know how I can help you. And let me know, because I'm here to serve, and I want to know how I can help you. I want to thank you for spending this time with me. I want to thank you for sharing your questions with me. And if you have any questions, again, let me know. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, have a great day.